It is a scam when you don't allow everyone to operate on fair terms.
We are the Robin Hoods of sports betting. We take something back from the rich bookies and enable our customers to beat them instead.
G'day everyone, welcome to our Trademate live betting coaching session with Pro Sports Bettor and Trademate co-founder Jonas Gjelstad at the bottom of your screen. How are you, mate?
Good man. I was hoping for like a bit more a different intro this time.
Yeah, no, it's stock standard, mate. Nothing's changed over the years. I'm not innovating now, mate. I'm going with what's worked. So there you go, mate. And as you can see, top right-hand corner of your screen, also professional sports bettor, or maybe not these days, but we'll go with that anyway. Yeah, Neil Shaw, how are you, mate?
Jonas is Premier League. I'm like sort of like conference, trying to get full time.
Europa Conference League, yeah, nice.
That's it, exactly. Thursday nights.
Oh, that's perfect, mate. So we've got Jonas on. Obviously, he's going to show us all about the new live betting software that we've got in Trademate Sports, which I think debuted in March, April, that kind of time. There's been no content around that in terms of our YouTube channel, there's been a few emails sent here and there, but nothing that kind of guides people through how to use it, best practices, presets, all that kind of stuff. So we thought today would be a good time to get on board with that. Now that we've been running it for 6 months, we can show, all the results through the big data tool for each sport, certain edges, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, Jonas can run us through, I guess, how he's been using the software himself. Neil hasn't been using it, so it'll just be Jonas showing us. And I guess me and Neil will kind of just tag along and ask Jonas questions. As we keep going. As always, guys, in the live chat, I'm very out of practice with this streaming software, so I will do my best to get to these questions throughout the stream, and get your questions answered as we go along. But should I hand it over to you, Mr. Gjelstad, if there's anything you wanted to start with? I don't know, we could start logically and maybe look at presets, or is there anything you wanted to talk about first with the software?
Yeah, live is a bit different to pregame. With pregame, you have minutes to place bets. With in-play, you don't really have that much time. So I guess having a proper setup is the key. Without a proper setup, then it's so easy to make mistakes. And it's a different thing also if you're betting on which sports you're betting on. Like in tennis, I don't know how many tennis points on average is a game, but it's like 100 or something, and each tennis point can be very important. So when you're looking at the in-play thing, and that's, I think, something we don't have as of now. I'm trying to find a bet on tennis. I can say exactly what I'm talking about. So basically what I'm saying is, like, if it's 30-15 in tennis and you're betting on the game, you don't have many seconds before the next point is scored. So I would probably advise on tennis to kind of split your screen, use FlashScore, Bet365, or Betfair if you can have an exchange account there. For Betfair, it's important to have a funded account and not one of those delayed accounts, so you can see real time what's happening. But you kind of want to be placing the bets on tennis when there is it called a side change or something like that. So when it's like 1-0, or I should know which games that they're swapping sides on, but I don't want to say anything wrong. But whenever there's a stop in the game, there you have like a minute to place a bet. So if you have FlashScore open, you can kind of see, okay, who's approaching this, and then you know when to strike for in-play tennis. And in-play tennis, basically, it goes all day, and there's so many mistakes. So, but you then again need to know when to look and don't waste time, because ideally we should be like, if we could put in whenever this score occurs, to only have it during dead balls, but to that you would need some proper feeds and it would make things very complicated. But maybe down the line it's something that can look into.
I'll share
Another thing that
actually while you're talking, and I've just made a quick preset for live, so I guess people can see what it looks like. This is just all sports, but I assume that around this time it's going to be just soccer coming through.
Yeah, and I see you just have 10 bet open. So what I did was to just put in all the bookies that we have on Trademate, just to see which one is actually in the live feed and which is not. And if you open a preset, just click on preset. There you can also choose what kind of odds type. If you scroll down. So why I'm trying to say this is, I would have numerous presets open for each specific odds type, and the reason for not each, but for the major ones, so it's a lot easier for you to place bets quickly when you're, for example, if you go into Bet365, then you can just see what is the 1x2 odds on each game, what is the over/under score on each game. So you don't have to open a game, then find the selection, but you're mainly just looking for those. So, okay, you just hoover through, like, okay, now looking for 1x2, then you're changing to totals. Okay, now you're looking for this. And you, of course, need to be pretty good at multitasking in order to maximize your EV here. And with football, it's a lot easier because, well, I'm looking now and I can see, like, for example, I see Bovada is really sloppy with what they're doing, and but I guess Bovada is very hard to get accounts for most people.
Yeah, so I'm not sure what it looks like for people on their end, but when they go to add a bookmaker.
Yeah.
So here we go. This is what people will be able to see on their end when they work on their Trademate account. But yeah, as you go through your bookmakers, you'll be able to see which ones are for pre and which ones are also for live. So, for example, Bet365, the most common bookmaker in the world, that we do not have live odds for Bet365, just pre. So, make sure that you have a good look. Sorry?
That's not correct, because I just saw a bet on Bet365.
Live?
Yeah. Let me just... Yeah, I added all the bookmakers just in case there was anything like that. But I will try to do it again, just only have 365, because I added all of the bookmakers. Maybe I was seeing wrong. Like, I've been up for a while, so I could start to hallucinate there.
Yeah, don't get everyone too excited.
I guess I can add from the UK, so like maybe anyone listening in the UK as well. So the main ones that I've seen be Poker Stars, William Hill, Ladbrokes. But obviously, you can use Coral as well with Ladbrokes. And yeah, those are the main ones that seem to have a lot of volume. I think we did a little data dive yesterday, didn't we, Alex? You saw the number of trades that were coming through for those, specific ones you can get in the UK.
Yeah, so are you able to share your presets, Jonas, or what kind of presets you've been using for live, or do you want me to just tell me what they are and I can put them on my screen here?
Yeah, I mean, it's nothing too fancy. I just put odds from 1 to 5.5.
Yeah.
And I put edge from 5% to... I have 57, but yeah.
You never know.
Never know. 57 is a lucky number.
And are you just doing recommended leagues or all leagues?
All leagues. But I mean, I haven't been using it much myself. It was more to try it out.
Yeah. And so you're just throwing everything in together, sports and odds types.
Yeah, so I just took up everything just in one feed just to be able to see what was going on. Was there any specific bookmakers that seemed to have a lot of bets, which were those? And yeah.
Yeah, so as you can see on my feed here, now that I've opened it up a bit, yeah, we're getting some tennis trades through here too, and soccer at the same time too. I think that's even ice hockey there. So yeah, there's lots of trades coming through all the time. Maybe we should do a bit of a look at your stats. Maybe I can log into. Should I log into your account, or are you able to share your screen?
Have
you got many bets registered using live?
Let me see. Here I see live trades. Perfect.
We can't see your face anymore, by the way, Neil. If you are you trying to hide?
That's right, you've seen enough. No, just the internet's a bit choppy, so just cut it out for a second.
What a shame.
This is the big data. I thought it would be my trades. Let me see.
You go to analytics, the one above.
Yeah. I thought that's what I clicked, and then it was the big data tool. Yeah, but
He's struggling to filter the live trades.
no, it's just like I thought. I don't know. Like I don't think I've been adding in all the bets, just placing and not adding.
Okay.
So the numbers of bets I have is like 136, which is it's a lot more.
Yeah.
But so it doesn't. It's all irrelevant, kind of.
Yeah. Okay. Well, why don't we just take a look at the big data tool then, guys, so you guys can get a general idea of how live Trademate has been performing. So for those who don't know, big data tool takes you through the community stats for Trademate. So keep in mind this has only been in operation since March, and obviously pretty limited number of people are using the product. Probably because there hasn't been much information around it, but also it's an add-on to the Trademate core subscription. So it's not like it just comes included with the normal pre-game stuff. So we can start with soccer as always. Generally the trades are coming through mostly for over-under. So over-under's got a really good sample size. I think there's been for soccer, there's been over 20,000 trades but 17,000 of them have been on just over under. So we'll go 0% edge, live trades, get rid of custom trades. Hopefully this is nice and quick for people. Yeah, nice. All right. So over under, as you can see, this is with a 0% edge. So you could be getting alerts for trades that are 0.1% edge, which we wouldn't recommend placing. But this just gives you a general overview of how it's been performing. If we just up that minimum edge a bit, maybe we can go up to, let's just say 4%. The results, much better. Bit of a smaller sample size, but still 8,000 is a very good sample size. You can ignore all the kind of closing edge play. So basically how it works is the trade will come up, it'll say 6.7 edge, and there's no such thing as a closing edge. That's just what it is at the time. It's fast paced, fast moving. So yeah, there's not really anything to that.
You can see those edges are the same. So you can also do another one, do a sim, just do 0 to 3% on the
edge.
Yeah, 0 to maximum 3. I mean, of course, it's going to be more variance in this kind of things, but yeah, you can see the ROI goes down to 0.9%. Still making money, but if you were to like you see from the previous one, what was the average ROI on the other one, the flat?
It was it was 4.9 or something, wasn't it? Oh god,
yeah,
really could be
that could be, and 4.9, and then it was
yeah, there it is, 4.9. Yeah, 8,000 trades. So yeah, average.
But you see, like it's a little bit below the closing edge, which seems to be the trend, which is also why it's good to have a bit of a cushion, so you know you have an edge or a significant edge.
Yeah.
And yeah, no, it's like what I've put in is basically 5%, like I said that earlier, 5%.
Yeah.
And you could also just, I don't know if, well, it's probably not going to be many high odds on over-unders. Of course, yes, it could be some like crazy totals, like over 6.5 or something like that. But what did you put in now?
Yeah, so now I've just opened it up and put in all soccer trades. So that'll also be, I think it's money line. They haven't been performing as well. Oh, no, sorry, 1x2. Yeah, so that'll include 1x2. There's no Asian handicap bits coming through. And then I just upped the edge to 5%. But as I said before, the majority of the trades for soccer are over under. And if you up that to 5%, which I have now, you'll see that, the results shoot up even more. So, I guess this just gives guys a general idea of how it's been performing. And also, if you are going to start using Trademate Live, then, maybe be looking at setting your minimum edge to 4 or 5%. Whereas I think pre-game, we've been, most of the recommended presets we have are centered around minimum edge, maybe 2 to 3%. So with live, maybe you want to go a bit higher. How have you found placing the bets, mate? Like, are you're getting the trades come through? Are they holding? What kind of percentage of the time do you think you're able to get on, or is it just moving too quickly some of the time?
I mean, it's a bit of a hit and miss. It's all about practicing and understanding what bets are moving, what are how much time you have in each thing. But then if you have if it's flash score or anything else that you want to use on the side of it, it's easier to get a higher hit rate, because the more bets you're placing, the higher, like the more used you get to these things.
Yeah.
So
I guess it's like, whenever you start Trademate, even if you're doing pre-game stuff, like you do have to be reasonably quick there too. So it's just getting used to it.
And as always, I would always just say, you need to click on the bet that you're looking for, so you have it open. Like if you go into trade feed now, Alex.
Yeah. Sorry. Hold on.
And just click on it. Yeah, so you just leave it open like this, and then if anything happens, it will say expire or it will disappear, and that means it's no longer a bet.
Yeah, good point. I think this one's been working around a while, so I'll keep clicking on them, and people can get an idea of when they come through, how they leave. We've got some questions come through. Firstly, from Willie O'Grady, he says, are you guys working on fixing the disconnected bookmakers? If you just mean generally, like for pre-game and live, from what I gather, maybe you'll be able to answer this, Jonas, but we basically pay for an odds provider, and the odds provider just gets whatever bookmakers they can on. So I think we're basically at the mercy of the odds provider, aren't we, as to which bookmakers are connected with them?
Yeah, that's spot on. And asked to add some bookmakers, asked to do some of this, but just saying they're at full capacity. So
yeah,
just gotta take what's given, and that's it for now.
Yeah.
But yeah, of course, it could be possible to do something like different down the line, but it's for now it's gonna be like this for a while, I think. Safe to say. But yeah.
Here's a bet that's come through, by the way. Oh, that one's gone already. So as you can see,
yeah,
it didn't disappear, but it disappeared from here. So yeah, I'll try and click on as many as they come through, and you'll be able to see how quickly people have to place them. Another question here from Dalem. He says, how high are the margins on Pinnacle for live bets on average?
So that depends on which league you're talking about. So if you're looking at Champions League, for example, I think they are operating on slightly higher margins live than, or they are operating on higher margins live than they do pre-game. So, for example, Arsenal minus 1.5, they have 187.7. And on the other side is 2.0. So that should be 13 cents. Just trying to, like, it's actually easier to calculate the cents thinking about the US odds. Yeah, so it's 194, 1943 and 1943 on both sides.
So not much.
Just placed a big bet on Shakhtar.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
yeah, so of course, if then 194.3, so to give a little bit more context, I should know this, but I want to make sure I say things right. So that means 97.15% payout. And if you have your tool set towards pin, then yeah, if you have over 6%, you basically have a sure bet against pin, which is nice.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, there'll be plenty of them, and for live, it's like, I think it was Bet City or somebody, some guy told me that he placed a bet on draw versus, it was like Arsenal Chelsea or something, like a big game, and $50 first bet, and after that Bet City limited his account, and I was like, it's crazy, like how some bookmakers are that onto people, or that onto finding edges. But
what just off his
I
first
think,
bet?
Sorry?
One bet. They limited him off one bet.
Yeah, and
on
it was like
an English Premier League game.
Yeah, top teams also. So
it's unreal, isn't it? Like, you could just be the worst sports bettor of all time and just somehow get some EV on your first bet.
yeah, no, I don't know, but again, this there's others, like I've seen longevity is generally higher, and there's certain sites which is better than others. Like somebody was telling me about Romanian sites was very good. Superbet, and like there's a lot of just from what I can see now, it just seems to be like the maximum amount of bets that are showing in my feed is like, well, the maximum amount of bets is one thing, but the edges is basically from 10 to 15%, and it's a full feed.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe mine's not updating.
Yeah, but you need more bookmakers. How many do you have?
Oh, yeah, true. Yeah, I've only got the ones that I've always had on my account. So looking at those, I only have live, I've got Pinnacle, Points Better disconnected, SBO, Unibet, and 10bet. Oh, that's weird. Yeah, 10bet I'm getting live bets for, but it's saying that they're only pre. So maybe this needs to be updated.
Yeah. Let's I'll take some notes and send it later.
Yeah. All right, we've got lots of questions coming through. I don't know if you guys have heard of In Play Live before. I have no idea what that is. I assume it's some kind of... No. Sorry, mate. No idea. Betfair coach says, could you make a few live bets for the pro version now? And
while you guys have been talking, I've actually been trying to see if I can get on. So I've managed to get like 5 bets on the football. So the odds have been sort of stable. I can share the screen. I can't share the accounts, but how do I?
Why not, mate? Yeah, no, share whatever, mate. You can just give everyone a good idea of how it's all working. It'd be good if I could share we could share your screen.
How do I? Can I share my screen? Or I can give you my login. You can just have a look if that's easier.
Yeah, is there something where you can say? So there's nothing on your screen that says share screen or?
Oh yeah, hold on. Yeah, right there we go.
It'll probably ask me for permission or something.
Yeah,
here we go. Come up? Yep. Show on stream. Oh, good.
Yeah, so I mean, yeah, like I said, so I haven't really been using it. I kind of dabbled with it a little while ago. Got busy with other things, so this is a good opportunity for me as well. But yeah, while you guys were talking, I've had. Yes, I was listening, but I was multitasking. So I had PokerStars up and Ladbrokes. See, I don't have a Hills handy, but if you have a look here, there's a lot of stuff coming through. But obviously, the issue is going to be some of these are going to be quick moving.
Whenever there's the balance.
Everyone logs off.
But yeah, but you can see that
bell at the top of the preset.
At Hills, look, there's a
he's not
there's
listening.
an edge there.
Before
Yeah.
Neil, how's your multitasking skills? Press the bell.
The bell.
Yeah, go on the trade feed. I'm pointing with my finger. Trade feed.
Oh, the bell here, yeah.
No, not that.
No, God, no. Yeah,
there,
the bell. Yeah.
Here, you see it? On the left.
It's the bell.
There, yeah. Play sound on your trade.
Yeah.
Untick it, please.
No, you have to. Yeah, there we go. Yes. Oh my God. All right. Maybe just take us through your trades. Just click on them. And
well, anyways, yeah. So just going back to again, these are just kind of tester stakes, but these are ones that I've been able to get on for the most part. And when I've tried it, like this is a good time right now because it's like half time in all the Champions League games. There's a full slate of English League football on as well. So there might be some, again, they're going to be stable for like 5-10 minutes. So you might be able to pick out some here. But yeah, again, but then I don't know, Jonas, might be worth saying, obviously with the pre, right? So then you are looking at these closing edges. With here, it's just we can't give the secret sauce away, but basically, this edge, like how much do you read into that?
I do think it's like over a big sample, you're probably going to be running about 1% below the actual edge, I think. Hard to say, but that's what I've seen from the data, that people seem to run about 1%. So, one thing we could have done is just shave off 1% of the margins and it would be less bets. But yeah.
Okay. So yeah, that gives you an idea that you can get them. Like again, you're seeing there's stuff coming through. There's liquid games as well. So but I mean, I've set it up here. So these are like UK books. So obviously there'll be others, but these are the ones that I'm able to access here, or ask people to.
So yeah, I think it's just good to show that like you've got 4 books set up on a Champions League night, which is going to be a busy night. But also Saturdays and Sundays are going to be the same. But you've got trades flooding in constantly. Like this is non-stop trades coming in the whole time. So it's not really like there can be times, I guess, when you're using pre-game Trademate, if you don't have that many books, that you can just be sitting there waiting, or at least, not using the software at all. Whereas I guess, you could just block out, if you did want to use the product, you could really block out a couple hours period on a, Tuesday, Wednesday night, couple of hours on the weekend, and you are going to smash some trades in, like more than you would, I would assume, if you're just using pre-game.
Yeah, like I mean,
also-
I haven't got a Hills, but like I can see I'm on the site, and the Bromley trade, it's still there, So you do get time for some of these, but like Jonas said before, like things like tennis, it's a good idea, right? To have flash score up to kind of see when there's going to be like like an end of set, or break in play, and then then you can kind of figure out the best times. Is kind of a little bit of a different approach to pre. You can just be there at any time.
Yeah, I mean, it's just tennis starts 8, 9 or something usually in the morning UK time. So it's not too many football games on at those hours. So it's just if you want to get more volume, that's possible. Also, as you can see on most of the bets, like the more, call it exotic or whatever you want to call it, the lower you go in the leagues, the more money you're gonna make. Like
So these are only recommended as well.
Yeah. So if you were to look at a national league, for example, there could be way more swings in the game, whereas the books are usually quicker to change on Champions League games. But no, there's gonna be great edges even on Champions League. Like these bookmakers mess up with everything. So yeah.
Yeah.
And just one more thing that I think it's worth mentioning, and that is most Asian bookmakers have something called danger ball, meaning if you place a bet on over and a team is attacking, they would have to become a safe ball, meaning no more attack, basically, for the bet to be accepted. But some of the soft books, they just have a 3-second or 5-second runoff, and then your bet is accepted. So if you look at ISN, what ISN does is like if there's a corner, if anything is happening, they pump up the odds as if what would the odds be in 40 seconds ahead, because that's how long it's going to be on average. Now, I don't know their juice, if it's like 40 seconds, if it's 32, whatever it is with their models. I mean, ISN is clever guys. I think it's owned by Star Lizard. But yeah, so where am I going with it? Basically, if you bet on over, you're probably going to have a bigger edge than you will have if you bet on under, because of how certain softbooks are operating versus the Asian makers. So betting on unders when there is a danger ball could be a mistake on a softbook. But you still see in there, like they usually have this football pitch, it's like danger ball, safe ball, and you can see these things if you click into the game. But if you're not clicking in, just betting over under from whatever tab, then yeah, you can in a way trick yourself also to make a bad number, because you won't really make that bad of an over. Or you won't make it bad. So
that's interesting.
So yeah, that's just
some drop in knowledge.
Yeah.
I was going to have a look at some of the other sports if you want.
Sorry?
I was going to have a look at some of the other sports, just so people get a general idea of how the other sports are performing. I think the most impressive sport was probably tennis. less trades, obviously 4,500, 4.3, and that's a 4.3% ROI with minimum edge sense of 0. So let's just say we put that at 4.
But the average edge was also 7.3.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, there you go. Yeah. So now, if you just set a little bit higher minimum edge, then you jump up to 6.2. So yeah, obviously there's some high edge bets coming through for tennis, and 3,500 is a big sample. It's not as big as some of the others we've had, but it's a big enough sample to show that tennis is performing really well with this live betting part of the software, and it kind of follows a similar trend to what we saw with soccer, where it's kind of just a couple of percent below the edge in terms of how it performs over time. The other one was basketball. That's had a decent amount of trades come through.
Yeah, and just like we were saying earlier, it's like if you can bet when there's a timeout in basket and do these things, then yes, you're more likely to get on the good side of the bet. And because you're gonna, like we're humans, we see a bet coming, and then if it's in play, you gotta have to find the bet, you gotta click, all of a sudden there could have been an attack that's been missed, and all of a sudden you see, okay, I see this bet at 192, now it's 198. Okay, I click it, and by that time, like maybe they missed and time has run off the clock, right? So the bet is no longer as good as it first looked. So having being able to multitask and look at different things would be pretty important, I think, to do this. And NBA season starting tonight also.
Oh yeah, that'll be a good one as well. Yeah.
Yeah, because I assume, when does the NBA season finish?
WNBA finished.
No,
April,
the NBA.
How is it?
Yeah,
well, I think
so
sorry, what?
Time, yeah.
Yeah, so I don't think the live betting software's been around too long, so there wouldn't be many. As we can see, there's not many trades here for basketball. But if we just go recommended leagues, I think that's just NBA and EuroLeague basketball. So there's not been many trades at all because they haven't really been in season. So hopefully we'll see some progress there. Do you think there's any reason why there's such a big gap here, Jonas, between edge and results with basketball?
It could be the thing that I was just saying, that it could be people placing the bets after when the game has started or things like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, how many bets is it?
3,020 to 3,200.
Can you try to cap the odds?
What do you mean?
Cap the odds at, for example, 2.2.
Yeah, still is pretty similar.
Yeah, no, I was just gonna see if it was anything like that that could have made sense.
Yeah.
But no, I have no good explanation. But it's hard to be too, like, it's 3,000 sounds like a lot of bets, and yeah, variance should be like, it should run closer. But I don't know if I said this before, but I use this example a lot when I explain to others. If you play roulette and you bet 100 euros on red and you do 1,000 spins, how likely do you think you are to make a profit afterwards?
What's the margin on it? I don't know.
Well, single zero, so 1 divided by 37.
So what? Two and a bit. So 47%.
Closer to 3 than to 48.5% hit rate.
So there's still a chance. You're telling me there's a
Yeah,
chance.
like it's after 1,000 spins, it's like 16% or something like that. It's ridiculous that 1 out of 6 times you come out making money after 1,000 spins on red
Yeah.
with flat staking or flat staking. Of course, your profit is going to be less on average than your losses will be, but
Mm.
even to be in profit after that, it's just absurd. And it also shows, I think, can I explain a little bit about the issues with sports betting and people betting themselves? It's so easy to go on a heater, even if you're negative 3%, and you will remember those hot runs of if it's like a period of 30 bets when you win 20, 25 of them, and think you definitely have an edge. You know what you're doing, and
Yeah.
then when you don't win, it's unlucky. And yeah, it's the same here. Like even if you have an edge, you will go on bad runs, and it's just part of life.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I highly recommend everyone watching I think it was with you, didn't we do like some variance simulations at your old place in London?
It could be.
Yeah, that's a really good video. If anyone's got time after this to just look at our channel or type in Trademate variance simulations or something like that. It's a really good, really good video there, I think, with Jonas that just shows that, you can have such a big sample size, but you can just have the most, crazy outcomes. Got some questions here. So we've kind of gone through tennis, basketball, and also soccer now. So people get a general idea now of how everything's performing. I'll try to get some more bookmakers in while we're talking later, but so everyone can get more of an idea of the trades coming through. Some questions. Tim says, I would love to use the product, but I'm based in France and can't use 90% of the books. Could we have a special subscription for French people with just the books they can use? Mate, I only think we've got 1 or 2 special subscriptions, and I think that's for the US and for Norway. So I highly doubt that we would be setting up something just for France, to be honest, mate. I assume you would just have to subscribe to normal Trademate and see what books are there from France. It's, I guess, similar for I guess people in Australia too. We can't live bet here, so sadly we can't use the product.
No, I think I don't know which bookmakers and how many is available, but I think it's over 100 bookmakers on the site. So even if you have access to 10, you will still be able to make decent profits. And yes, your lifespan will be shorter as compared to if you have more bookmakers. But so let's say you could use Trademate for 6 months with, say, UK account. I don't even know which country is the best these days. But for France, maybe it would only last 1 to 2 months before you've gone through all of them. Like I don't really have the answer to how long, but it's kind of still justified in a way. And
I think like also you have to it might not all be there, but there's a lot of clone bookmakers. So even though you might think you haven't got access to like the brand names that are there, like there might be some other bookies that have that have the same odds feeds, so you're going to be getting the same odds. So I mean, I think in France they've got like BetClick is one of the big ones, isn't it? But then you can get net bet as well. I'm sure some of these games, I'm sure like the same like third party providers are sending them to quite a few bookies, and I'm sure there'll be like bookies in France to do it. But that you'd kind of have to do your own research really to see that.
Yeah, that'd be interesting or it would be good to get a better list of these things, but I don't really know if like how easy it would be to just add on all of these things. Like, for example, some people might not know that there's many different sites with same odds as Unibet. That's Nordic Bet has the same odds as Betson, as BetSafe, as I don't know who else that might have the same. But yeah, these things is would be good to have a more updated list on.
Yeah, I was
Maybe if we were
hoping.
to,
I was going to say I was hoping to get some data around what the most common bookmakers have been in terms of most trades come through for live betting with Trademate. But we didn't. I couldn't get that in time for you guys. Do you have any idea, like Jonas, what bookmakers have come through the best for you, like most trades?
no, no.
I mean, Bovada looks very good. I've just added that into here.
Yeah, but Bovada is a US account, so it's pretty tough.
Yeah.
US, Canada.
Canada.
Canada. A mix of Norwegian and English.
All right. Well, I think. What was it? Oh, there's a question here. Sorry, one from Olaf. He says, "Is there any live bets on the Asian bookmakers?"
So I don't think we have live for many of them.
Well, we do for Pinnacle.
Yeah, but I don't think we do for SBO, ISN.
It says we do.
Okay, maybe we do.
For
I haven't.
SBO.
Let me try to make a new preset here and see.
But yeah, I haven't seen any trades come through.
What kind of filters do you have?
What's this? We got 5% edge on everything.
Yeah, so if it's that close to a sure bet, or if it's a sure bet, then there's bots out there picking it up before it's even shown to anyone.
Yeah.
So that's it's gonna be tougher to get the high edges there, but there's probably, or it could be ways also to find some. I haven't really gone too much into that, as I think it's better ways to make money and easier ways. With those things, you kind of need to look into big data and like be really smart about it, and have feeds so you know what to do. Like, when do you take a position? Because, like I said, maybe ISN is over adjusting on the let's say if it's a corner, that there will be a big edge in the market, like big gap in the market, but so if they are the fastest and over adjusting, yes, maybe there's a bet on Pinnacle if you bet unders, but then you have to be ultra fast also, and to do this manually, I don't think that's going to be too easy. And it would also have to, well, I don't know how much I should go into these things, but yeah, it's very complicated, to put it like that.
Yeah. And just so people know that, yeah, it does cost more for the, to do the live section of Trademate. So for those who don't know, Trademate Core, which is just the normal pre-game subscription, that's 120 euros a month. But if you add on the live product too, it goes up to 300 euros a month. And then for the 3-month subscription, pre-game is 300 euros for 3 months, and with live it's 800. So yeah, it is a significant increase, but I think we've showed here today that if you treat this like at least a part-time job, like you're putting in a couple of hours here and there on busy nights, like in the Champions League, you could honestly do this all weekend, and you've got a decent bankroll, then that subscription fee is probably going to be quite minimal in terms of what you could make because there's just going to be so many trades you can get on, as we've kind of shown tonight. Like, it's just constant.
Yeah, you should be. It's a low number is 30 bets an hour, and if you're betting say $50 a bet, I don't like $50 a bet, then $50 times 30. That's low. Like you probably will have a higher number, but even with that and let's say 4% ROI, that's $60 an hour, and that's for the $50 and 30 bets.
Yeah.
So at 4%. So yeah, basically at those stakes, it's less than 4 hours, and then it's paid for.
Yeah.
So call it a third of a Saturday.
And if you're doing $50 a bet, that means your bankroll's probably somewhere around 55,000. Would you say? Yeah, 5,000.
5,000, yeah. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, it depends on the odds, but I think.
Yeah. Roughly.
I think
roughly.
I'd like to do around 100, 150 bets bankroll, and of course adjust as you go. But for live, it's so nice because you don't need to tie up a lot of money, because the money is tied up maximum 2 hours.
That's the best thing about it.
Yeah, so you just turn over the money so quickly, and yeah.
Or if you're on unders and there's a few goals, then you can, you put out of your misery quite quickly as well.
Yeah. Some sites also like Bet365. I think like if you have overs and you bet as one, you can cash out and you get 100% paid out. So
I think actually it'd be good to get your thoughts on this, Jonas, as well, like how the bookies treat, because I guess there's like a standard perception that the bookies will treat kind of live as kind of more muggy, more for like casual, impulsive, like recreational bettors. And I mean, I know from the bookie side, working that side, that there was there's a big push to kind of get more volume on live trades. So I'm wondering, like, I mean, some of these, the huge edges kind of get noticed quite a lot. But if you're kind of taking 5-6% edges, again, like money line bets, totals bets, I'm guessing like you can kind of stay under the radar for a while with some of these.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to give a yes or no answer to how a bookie operate, because I think they're all they could be like that. Some bookmakers puts out some what do you call traps, like you're saying, like if it's a 10% trap or if it's a 15% trap. I don't really know if they're trying to catch people taking advantage of their mispricing that way. But generally, like what you're saying, it's right. Yes, they would definitely want that. And I think also if you're able to bet from a mobile, which is really fucking tough, or emulate the mobile to your PC or anything like that, I think that is also even better for the account. Easier said than done. But there's like, the closer you bet to kickoff, the better it is. Like if you're consistently, if you start betting like 7, 8, 9 a.m. in the morning, and your bets are closing well, or is an edge when you're betting and also closing well, it's very easy for the bookmaker to see that you know what you're doing. But I think also the more you bet, the faster you will be limited, because let's say you're keeping it at like $50 or something like that, I think they will have a lot more tolerance than when you start betting 500, 1K, 2K, 3K. So it's more like, do you want to do the short grind or the long grind? And what generates the most value is long term is hard to say, because first of all, I don't know if people are teams are like friends, they are 5 friends, and then you take turns in terms of like who's betting and you pool money together. Yes, it's against the bookmaker's terms and condition, but impossible for them to find out if you don't send money across and operate like that. So if you were to do it like that, maybe it's better to bet bigger per bet and only work 1/5 of the time if you're 5 guys. But I don't necessarily have a definitive answer.
But you would think that, I mean, Neil, this is actually probably a good question for you. Like, if you were ever, when you were working with a bookmaker, like, would you, and you had people sending, placing lots of live bets, would you look at anything other than their ROI to see if they're good? Like, were they tracking any data, like what was the price at Pinnacle, let's just say, at the time that this guy placed the bet?
Oh, mate, making me give away trade secrets here.
Oh,
It's a good question, and obviously I can only speak from experience working with one group of bookmakers, but broadly, there's similar things that they'll be looking at. So usually, the bigger bookmakers, they'll have separate teams that are looking at risk management. So and they'll look at accounts coming through, and accounts are generally sort of coded up. So there's people who are sort of already well known, already restricted, but still able to get some money on, and those will immediately kind of be flagged. But then the challenge is, if you've got a new account and you're putting things through, it's harder. It's difficult for them sometimes to compare to to Pinnacle in real time. So what might happen sometimes again is you can get a good run before it gets picked up, and eventually someone will have eyes on it and will look at what you're doing. If you get off to like a horrible run, I mean, I know from like Bet365, let's say I have a horrendous run for the first kind of 50 bets, as long as it's not like really dodgy like horse racing and it's reasonably liquid stuff. Your limits can sometimes go up, and actually you can last quite a while. So they seem to emphasize that ROI more. If you're kind of taking like the like best prices, again, these massive edges in play, then they're able to spot that. They've got tools at their disposal as well to kind of see where they're kind of way out of line with other books, and they generally get adjusted. But it kind of it depends on the markets, depends on the sports. So some of the sports, some of the markets are priced in house. Generally what will give you a good idea on that is the kind of specials and the kind of the kind of breadth of the market might suggest that they're doing it in house. But then if it's a kind of third party provider, sometimes there's things that are slow on their end. So if you're spotting things like that and you have an idea that it's a third party, so if you see the same odds lines at a few different bookmakers, you might have like a bit more time. It's harder for them to pick up. It's harder for them, the bookmaker, to actually alert this third party and say, look, your prices are off on this. You might want to check this. That's going to delay things for them, and those prices are going to stay stale for a while. But it's it's like one of these, not to give a non-answer, but it's hard to say, because everyone, the risk traders who are looking at it, some of them will be more aggressive, and have a kind of more of a zero tolerance policy. Others will be quite happy to give you a little bit of rope to hang, before they hang you. So it kind of depends. But I think it's volume of stuff as well. If you mix in a lot of crap, and that would be interesting, even live. Let's say you're doing, you're putting on all these Trademate trades, but at the same time you're just putting on rubbish, like just random things like the flash markets. Someone to get sent off in the next 10 minutes, or a corner in the next 5 minutes, and if you're mixing all of those in, just they're looking at a screen with all these bets on, it'll take them longer to decipher it, and also it'll be like, well, they're putting this crap into, they'll kind of they'll let it slide, or they won't. Again, it's just hiding in plain sight. It's just like with the pre-match stuff, how to kind of hide what the real EV is. So I think you can kind of experiment and see. Different bookmakers are going to have very zero tolerance on it. Some of them you can kind of figure out you've got a bit of time.
Yeah, and I think I had a lot of things I wanted to touch on there. Let's see how much I remember. I remember when I was betting more pre-game, what I did with one bookmaker, I was started to get limited, and I misclicked one bet, and then I took the other side. So of course I had a negative arb against myself, so I couldn't make money because I maxed one side and I maxed the other. But what happened then the next day was that my limits was like 10x, and it was back to like a decent account again. And
But all along, all we had to do was just open a brand new account and place an ARB against ourselves, and that's it.
but I think like the bigger you bet and the more you win, the more likely they are to look into your account. What you were saying with scraping of odds, I know SB Tech. Okay, I don't know if this, from what I understood, was that, and from what I got told, was like they're scraping the odds from Betfair, but they were doing it with delay. So you could basically manually update Betfair and see who won the point before SBTech updated themselves. And SBTech at least was the provider for a lot of bookmakers, and their tech was a bit so-so for at least for tennis. But I mean, they got sold for $1 billion to DraftKings, so I don't know. And I think also, I don't know, when did you work for a bookie, Neil?
So this was like a couple of years ago, and I don't think it's changed a huge amount. I mean, there's some changes, but it's still fairly similar systems.
Yeah, okay. I'm just thinking with AI and all of these things now that their tech should also improve quite drastically. But I don't know. Like how much faster they can be.
Yeah, I think it's this thing, again with the liquidity, right, and where they're taking their profits. Obviously, with football, they're very fast at the information and very like quick to it. But things like I'd imagine like the ice hockey and baseball that comes through, let's say on live here, they're not taking much. I know where I was. Let's say each night, the football will be taking millions, and baseball you'd be lucky to get like $1,000 of bets, like through on a full Major League Baseball card. So like the amount of priority is just so low that you probably will be able to pick up some nice stuff.
Makes sense. Yeah, no, it's I think like what you're saying, everything makes sense. Just the more like the greedier you are with the edge, the more easier it might be for them to spot. But I don't know how every site tracks it. I guess it's different. And I don't know if people that is betting all of this also want to give away if something is really good, or if there's an easy way to kind of make your accounts last longer, because it might work now, but if hundreds of people are doing it, then they might look into it and change it and see that this pattern is that they're getting exploited. But but no, live is I know many sites has even good edges on Champions League and these things, but you generally want to look for the lower stuff, like League 2, National, like Tuesdays. There's like full round usually in the England. So, and it's nice. Every game is kicking off at the same time, as Neil said. Halftime is at the same in Championship, League 1, League 2, and all the national leagues. I don't know how much risk they're willing to take. Of course, if you bet in halftime, you have more time, but it's also easier for the bookmaker to look in and see that they were off with their pricing, because they probably will receive more bets during that time. So hard to say all of this, like what's the best, what's not the best. I think it's just trial and error. And
Yeah, I also like when you're using Trademate pre-game, like especially like a book like Bet365, there's a very good chance that when a trade comes through, that people from Australia, US, UK, all around Europe are placing the exact same bet at the exact same time, or very similar times. And so that's like a lot easier way to flag your account than a live bet where, coming through the Trademate software, there's probably only like one, at most, maybe two others placing at the same time because of how, quick it all adjusts, and, people have to be on at the exact same time. So, like, it's not like a trader is going to be flooded with like, 10 people trying to bet the exact same thing at the exact same time at the exact same odds. Like, yeah. So
And then the question is like, for example, let's say you see Manchester City odds increasing like crazy, and of course we know who's not playing, or most likely it's going to be Haaland or De Bruyne or something like that not playing, Rodri. And then news comes out an hour or two later. So somebody got the information. They just started firing all across Asia, and they're probably not working with agents and keeping things quiet, but they just mash the markets. And then all of a sudden, it's very easy for people to pick up on, or even if they're just seeing like abnormality, like if you have, let's say, some good syndicates around, everybody knows that if a price is increasing a lot on a team which looks to be value, but you know there's certain players that it might not play, it's very likely that somebody knows something, and that's why it's moving. Of course, you could also play games and invest some like 10, 20, 30, I don't know, 50K, move the lines early on in the morning and send people the wrong way, assume them they will follow it, and then go bigger with agents. So it's cat and mouse game, and I don't know exactly how people are playing all of this. I don't really have too much experience with these things myself. I'm not betting those crazy amounts as some syndicates are operating with, but I do expect like, and that's also why another reason why betting closer to the kickoff is better. Like even for pregame, like for pregame, if you bet like say 70 minutes before the kickoff or something like that, and it's very likely to be some information in your favor, and you will have far less bad closings, and your closing will probably be closer to the actual edge when you're betting compared to when you're betting early. Because when you're getting early, you probably will be notified when the market stops moving down, and you will have the biggest deviation. Then bookmakers are adjusting, and now some people like the other side, so the bet will move the other way again.
Yeah. Yeah, we've got some questions here.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I sorry, I just read this one here from Betfair Coach. I could have a quick look and see if there is some trades that have been placed with the sharper or the Asian bookies. Actually, that's probably let me have a look and see if there's anything on the big data tool.
Yeah, so one thing I would say though is even if you have to pay a 5% tax in Germany, if your accounts are lasting longer, the only way you can make a decent amount of money there is by betting accumulators. So if you have the more bets you put into one accumulator with a good edge, the higher your return will be. So even if you pay 5% tax, if you're having on average 4% ROI and you put like say 10 games into fivefold system. I'm just gonna make sure I say this right. 4% edge, and oh man, using another keyboard here on my laptop. So if you have 4% edge in a fivefold accumulator, you have actually 21.6%. And yeah, I don't know how often you will be able to find 10 at the same time with the one bookmaker that is that high. So it sounds very good in theory, but I don't know how it would work in practice. But even if you just find 5, that's 21% return on one bet. And yes, maybe it looks more fishy to put in accumulators. I know, yeah, certain bookmakers are very sloppy on certain sports, and you can find many good edges.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think even from Germany, there's value to be made.
From your
for pre-game.
experience, do you think live betting is more profitable than pre-game?
I think live betting is a much better way to build up your bankroll because you can just turn over your money so quickly.
Yeah.
And but then again, like how much of a difference does it make to place 30 minutes before a game and 30 minutes into a game? Yeah, it's like say 30 minutes plus 2 hours, so 2.5 hours tying up the money instead of tying it up for 15 minutes into a game. So that's 30 plus 15 at 1.5 hour. Should have been able to do that.
Yeah, but
easy.
some people are placing trades like 24 hours before. So for those people, it's a huge difference. But and especially if you multiply that over time.
I would generally not recommend placing earlier than 2 hours maximum, because also, like I said, I think the earlier you bet, the more likely it is for many people to be doing it, and it looks more punty to be betting closer. And if you can bet from a phone, do that. And betting from a phone is always gonna look better for the bookmaker, just as Neil explained also that they wanted more live. The bookmakers also want people to be betting from phones, because most people betting from phones is not the ones that's most price sensitive.
Yeah. All right, let's get everyone's last questions in so we can wrap it up. We've been going for quite a while now. Reuven, we didn't answer this a little bit earlier, so you'll see. Let's just say from some of the graphs we showed earlier, I'll just quickly get one up so people can see an example. Come on. Let me just do it. Yeah, so basically these two are the exact same as each other. So the closing edge is almost like just completely ignore it in this graph. It's the exact same as this because there is no closing edge in live betting. I hope that makes sense to you, Reuven. Yeah, it's all just done very quickly. So whatever the edge place is at the time, that's your edge. And that's how it's all calculated. What else we got? Is it assumed that the house edge is always evenly distributed on both sides? No. I would say no, Jonas, wouldn't you? I think, especially if there's some really short favorites, I would say there's a lot more margin on the underdog than there would be on the favorite.
I think looking from a soft book perspective, yes, but in Trademate shouldn't really matter, in my opinion.
What do you mean by that?
Because I think the soft books, they would want to have bets on the short favorite, but if you're talking about the opening odds, yeah, maybe, but the market, like with the sharps, the market is formed by the bettors, and the bettors don't care who is short or long. But if you think most recreationals also betting on the sharp bookmakers are favoring the favorites, yeah, it could be. Easy example is Super Bowl. Do you think they get more sharp, or it's being bet so much money into Super Bowl, right? So most people are going to be on the overs for Super Bowl, but everybody kind of knows that unders for Super Bowl was a great bet for many, many years. So people were just waiting to close to kickoff, and then they would be betting on the unders because there was hundreds of millions coming in on the overs from the recreationals. So that is a bit different, but in general, I don't know how to compare this.
Yeah.
But no, I think the market is formed, and there's not so much liquidity in an average game as we see on football every weekend, that can be compared to Super Bowl. Or Patriots was Patriots in his prime was always getting so much recreational money, but it's different in the US sports because most of the money is not placed through sharps, it's placed in casinos or in the US, not so much in Asia. In NBA, it's still more money coming in the US than it is in Asia, but NBA is far superior to American football when it comes to volume in Asia.
Yeah. Yeah, there's probably just no general rule for this, though, is there? Like, maybe, soft books, like you said.
No.
I think they're going to generally, like, it's pretty rare that you see like 1.1, and then on the other side you see the, very close to true odds on the other, right? Like, it's normally like a lot bigger margin on the other side.
Yep. Yeah, I know, and that's also we didn't look too much into that, but I think the higher the odds is, the worse you're gonna, or the more likely you are to run below EV. But that could be a mix of variance and, like you're saying, the house edge being distributed differently, which is why I just tend to stay away from this.
And sorry, Betfair coach, I tried to look up the performance of the sharp books on the big data tool, but I think there's an issue with the big data tool when we're just trying to filter for certain bookmakers, because I tried to do that yesterday with the bookmaker and it wasn't working. So I tried to do that now and it didn't work, mate. So sorry I couldn't get that data for you, but I think it's pretty safe to say that you could go with what Jonas was saying before about how it's going to be extremely difficult to place high EV bets with sharp books because of, the, with bots and all that kind of stuff. They're going to be a lot faster than you to take ARBs and, high EV situations. So, yes. All right. Have we got anything else we wanted to finish up with, fellas, before we head off?
Well, I was just going to say, so during the session, so in between, obviously, chipping in as well. So I think I managed to get about 25 bets on. So Jonas said again that you do a couple of hour session, get at least 30 bets. It's, you can do it. You're going to miss some of them, but there were plenty that were there. There's plenty of time. I was putting bets on Ladbrokes on my phone. So even then, it wasn't like an optimal setup either. So it can be done. And like Jenna said, if 50 a click, again, kind of $60 an hour. If you're doing that persistently, 3-4 nights a week. Good thing is, something like a night like tonight, you've got kids, family commitments, whatever, you've got work, you can just set this time aside for a couple of hours. Maybe one of the things with pre is it's never ending, so you could be there and maybe plan an hour or two, but there is like a kind of therapeutic, when you click that button, you're kind of seeing them through, you're kind of you're getting that dopamine rush, and you could end up spending a long time or feeling guilty, you haven't, you could do another hour, whereas this is probably quite a nice way to kind of start taking it a bit more seriously. Like Jonas said, you can turn over that cash quickly as well. I think the issue for a lot of people is kind of having fun stuck. You can get great edges like a couple of days before, but you're kind of waiting on things to settle. You're going to get picked up by the bookies anyway. So let's say you've got 10 hours a week free to kind of bash that out. You can easily get 250, 300 trades in a week. Doing this, and
No, I think spot on.
Yeah. Sorry, I was just checking the Arsenal score.
See the Madrid game? I saw Dortmund were 2-0 up, and then it's 2-2 now.
Wow. Oh wow.
Yeah. Arsenal is not. They're like Chelsea with Mourinho.
Oh,
like
this. Jesus Christ, Jonas. You've been watching too much Sky Sports, mate.
I actually haven't watched Sky Sports in 3 years. Well, but I've seen the results. It's like 1-0, 1-0, 2-0, 1-0, 1-0, 2-0.
Yeah, a bit tired.
2-1.
Yeah.
I mean, if you don't concede, it's pretty hard to lose games.
Is Saka playing today? Did he come back? No, he's still injured. Him and Odegaard are still out. Two of our best attacking players. It's pretty hard to score goals without them.
Yeah.
Should
we?
I think
Should we
the
round
media is
up and-
going a bit mad when they're saying that we're playing like Mourinho against Manchester City when we have a red card. It's like, well, what the fuck do you want us to do?
Who said what?
There was just a lot of commentary after the Manchester City game where we went to 10 men and saying we're like the Mourinho's Chelsea. It's like, well, we scored our most ever goals last year in the club's history, so maybe not.
Okay. I'll take it. I'll take everything back. I'm just saying, like, Arsenal is the only team you could bet like -1.5 and bet under 3. It's like,
Yeah. No, it'll be an interesting season. I think Arsenal have a very good opportunity now that Rodri's out for the season to win. Red cards don't help. They've had 3 in 8 games.
Yeah, I've enjoyed that.
what team are you supporting, Neil?
I'm Spurs.
Spurs.
I was there at the weekend. It was a nice.
Oh, that was a fun game.
Yeah, it was good fun. I mean, people were getting a bit edgy when we went 1-0 down, but no, we played well. Really well. So I'm happy.
I
Do you
mean,
think Big Ange's going to hang
just
around?
starting to feel like.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, they love him. Like the fans absolutely love him, and like you always get this kind of lunatic fringe at, like, I guess like most clubs where they don't have the patience. I mean, there was a guy sitting next to us. Like, we went 1-0 down. He was kind of effing and blinding. Fair enough. But, even when we were like 3-1 up, and he was still like, I think Timo Werner came on, like, and his first 2 contributions were like, he'd like got the ball, lost the ball, like West Ham almost scored. And then, like, the next time he got the ball, he shanked it, like, off for a throw in. And, this guy was just going mental. And we're like, it's all right. Like, we're 3-1 up. Like, if you can't enjoy it now, you're paying like 50, 60 quid a ticket. Why put yourself through this every week? So, yeah, I don't know. I think things are going well. There's going to be some up and downs. Brighton game was annoying, but yeah, doing all right. Doing okay.
He made such a bad comment before the Brighton game. It was so funny how he's just like, "No, mate, we're just here to entertain." Everyone's like, "Yeah, that was pretty entertaining."
It was. Yeah, to be fair. Oh, Arsenal pen. There you go.
Oh, I'm behind.
Nice.
There we go. Happy days. Oh, have they gone and VAR'd it after?
Oh, I don't know. I'm just seeing on Flash. It's just come up on Flash score.
Yeah, they have. Yeah, I'm a bit
Still
behind.
no odds out, so
Oh my god! Oh, handball. Yeah, that's pretty bad.
okay. Are we gonna do? No, probably not smart.
We just turned into
Somebody
the
might be watching it on
fan
the stream.
club TV.
Yeah, I love some. Reuven's just commented by.
Yeah.
Sorry, Reuven. There's still like 30 people watching, so they're obviously interested. Funny. All right. Well, we'll call it a day, gents. I hope there is something in there for everyone.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to start using it more as well. So maybe in the future as well, could give a little update.
Well, it'll be interesting too, Neil, because you've just, I believe your Ladbrokes account that you've just started using is quite fresh. So, and you just
see how it
absolutely
lasts,
smashed in like 25 live bets in an hour. It'll be interesting to see how that account goes.
Yeah, I mean, I had like a mix of like Champions League stuff and then like the San Marino Cup. So yeah, let's see what they think of that. But yeah, again, but these are all like small stakes. So
what's the San Marino Cup?
Yeah, just like sort of club teams in San Marino.
Oh, sorry. I thought you meant it was some kind of like.
Oh no, it's not like this sort of special trophy or anything. It's like plumbers and electricians just playing against each other.
Oh, that's cool. All right. I've just realised I've done this whole podcast without my mic next to me, so I apologise if my audio is horrendous. Anyway,
Yeah, no, so I think also I'll be going over the comments if there's any questions, if there's anything. And we're going to be doing this a bit more going forward, Alex. We're making some more videos. And of course, always nice to get some feedback, get some questions. Like, I don't know what people is more interested in seeing more of. And
yeah, no, we'll. I'm back on deck a lot more now. So, yeah, if anyone has anything they want to see more often, more live streams, or just any more videos to do with the Trademate product, then yeah, always open to hearing suggestions. So yeah, always send them through, and we'll try to get Jonas on as much as possible. And Neil, I'm sure you'll be jumping on sometime soon to have a chat about what you've been up to in general. So
yeah, or if anyone is keen to join, like you said, you had a couple of requests of people wanted to join, but only Neil showed up.
Yeah, you can only rely on guys like Neil. Yeah, I don't know if Trademate customers really want to come on, but if you do, then let me know, and we'll more than happy to have people on to ask questions and stuff. But if not, you can always just ask on the live stream. So yeah,
and of course you can do it without camera if you don't feel comfortable with the camera on.
Yeah, as you can see, Neil's not very comfortable showing his face, so it's possible.
Have a quick glimpse.
Oh, geez. How exciting that was. All right. All right, we'll call it a day. If you're on the channel for the first time, make sure you subscribe, give this video a like. That would be great. And we will be back with more content very soon. There's lots more content coming out. So keep an eye out, people. Thank you very much for coming on, gents. We'll see you soon.
Cheers, guys.
Thank you for having us. Cheers.